Hello, my name is Dr. Tom Covey, and I'm the director of the Neuroscience Master's Program at the University at Buffalo. I want to thank you for your time and attention, and I'm delighted to be able to tell you a bit more about our master's program and also talk to you a little bit more about the field of neuroscience a bit more broadly. Now, if you're here to learn more about our program, I'm guessing you have some interest in neuroscience, and maybe you have a sense of what neuroscientists study. If that's not the case, that is also just fine, and this is a great way to learn more about this area of study. Now, at a really broad level, many neuroscientists want to better understand how the brain and nervous system give rise to complex behaviors and thoughts, or how the cells and molecules that make up the nervous system interact and produce more complex processes. And often, neuroscientists want to understand how these processes might be disrupted due to injury or disturbances to the nervous system. And maybe these are some of the things that you have been curious to learn more about as well. Now, one of the really amazing things about neuroscience is that it's truly interdisciplinary. Uh, and it's also really quite diverse in terms of the distinct areas that people can study. And so, really, it's this sort of endless potential to connect your own curiosity and interest with an area of study in neuroscience that you can be passionate about. Neuroscientists often study things that are so fundamental and important to people's everyday lives. So, neuroscience is really an area that's at the forefront of impactful scientific discovery for that reason and other reasons. Neuroscientists develop new technologies and therapies to help people improve their lives. They discover patterns of activity in the brain that give rise to complex behaviors and thoughts. That's an area I'm really involved in. And neuroscientists provide new approaches to addressing challenging scientific questions. Now, if these sorts of concepts resonate with you, neuroscience may be a good fit because these are the types of things that keep neuroscientists awake and thinking at night and also motivated to continue the research that we're doing. Now, before I tell you more details about our program, I'm first going to talk a little bit about my own journey. And some of what I'm going to say will also more or less be, well, definitely be an endorsement of the program because I myself was once a student in this program. It's been a number of years ago since that was the case. But to start off a little further back, I began my journey into neuroscience without knowing too much about it. When I was finishing up high school and visiting universities, I remember telling some of the academic advisors at these places that I was visiting, they often talk to you about what you're interested in, and that's how you kind of learn more about the curriculum. Maybe some of you did something similar to that as well. And I remember telling them that I was interested in understanding human behavior and psychology. This is really because I just wanted to always know why people think what they think. But I wanted to learn about, beyond that, I wanted to learn about the biological underpinnings of those thoughts and those behaviors. And one of the academic advisors at these visits told me, hey, what you are interested in is called neuroscience. And really, since then, I've been hooked. Now, I grew up in a town just about 20 minutes outside of Buffalo. And for my undergraduate work, I decided to go to the University of Rochester, which is just about an hour away or so from Buffalo if you're not from the area. And I joined the Brain and Cognitive Sciences program there. When I was finishing up my undergraduate career, I knew that I really loved neuroscience and I wanted to keep going along that path. I had a good amount of research experience and I found it to be very stimulating and fulfilling. but I also was not sure about the best path forward for me more specifically in that area. I had some interest in a PhD, but I also knew that was a major commitment, and I had some family-based reasons that I was motivated to stay in the Buffalo area as well. Now, eventually, I discovered the UB Neuroscience Master's Program when looking for a program that was the right fit for me. And I can tell you, boy, was it ever the right fit for me. When I came into the program, I was really uncertain about my next steps and whether a career in research was the right path for me. But going through the program made me realize I was truly passionate about neuroscience research, and I really was hungry for more. So after finishing the master's program, I then went on to the PhD program, also completing my PhD in neuroscience at UB. And then from there, I eventually was lucky enough to secure a faculty position. So that brings me to today, where I'm now the director of the neuroscience master's program at UB, and I get to work with many great colleagues and friends that I've made over the years at UB, both as a student and as a faculty member. And I also get to work with so many great students now that I'm a faculty member that's serving as part of the program. And I could have never imagined as a student in the program that I'd be serving as the director of the program one day. So I'm really grateful and I'm deeply passionate about this program, and I feel that it has given me so much. So now it's time for me to share what the program has to offer with you. Now, there are several components of the program that I'm going to discuss, but I'll start with an overview of the coursework. Our curriculum is designed to build foundational knowledge in neuroscience through core coursework. There are several required courses that provide this foundational knowledge. These courses include systems neuroscience, cellular and molecular neuroscience, a neuroscience seminar course, and then neuropsychopharmacology. But is also really a lot of flexibility in the curriculum, so you can tailor your learning to meet your own unique interests and career goals. There are two different tracks in the neuroscience master's curriculum. There's the standard track, and then there is the systems and behavior track. And then furthermore, within each of these tracks, you'll also have flexibility with the electives that you can take. You can take courses from psychology, bioinformatics, pharmacology, really any fields that are related to neuroscience, so that you can hone your learning in a way that fits the research you're doing and the goals that you have for your career. Research is really at the heart of our program, and the way our program is structured, there really is something here for everyone. Our highly interdisciplinary program has over 80 faculty affiliated with it. So there are potential research mentors across over 20 different departments at the university at Buffalo. And I think this is really a huge strength of our program, and it really enables students to identify the research that matters to them and that ultimately helps them to be successful in identifying and honing their career goals. Our faculty have expertise in areas, quite a wide variety of areas. I'm going to name a few here: neural communication, synaptic transmission, neuroplasticity, developmental neuroscience, the neural circuitry associated with sensation and perception, behavioral and cognitive neuroscience, and motivation. Those are areas I'm really interested in. Reward circuitry, the neuroscience of human health and well-being. There are quite a few researchers that focus on areas that heavily draw on neuroimaging and computational neuroscience, and there are many, many other fields. So there really is this wide breadth of research opportunities in our program, many fields that are covered by the faculty experts that are associated with our program. So how do you dive into this research? How do you find a mentor? Well, our program has these structured research rotations that help pair you with a mentor and a laboratory that is the right fit for you. You start with these research rotations in your first semester, and these rotations last about 4 weeks. This will give you an opportunity to learn about research in multiple laboratories so that you can better determine what the work in that type of environment and the field of study would be like. Once you join a laboratory, expert faculty mentors will guide you throughout your thesis project. Students in our program work with faculty mentors that are leaders in their field. These are individuals with mentoring and teaching awards and scientists that are doing cutting edge research. As a result of this really nice pairing of students with these expert mentors, graduate students in our program often publish peer-reviewed papers and present their work at major scientific conferences. And our program does a lot to help support these presentations as well by providing travel awards for students as part of this process. Once you've identified a laboratory that you want to join, you'll begin working on your thesis with the guidance of your expert research mentor. Your thesis work is an independent research project that you will lead. The purpose of this work is to make a significant contribution to your field and also to help you develop core research skills that are important for you. Not only will you have the support of your mentor throughout this process, but you'll also establish a thesis committee that will include several other faculty experts who can also provide further guidance throughout your thesis. So you'll have the guidance of your mentor, you'll have the guidance from your thesis committee as well. Your research laboratory, program resources, and the resources in the School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences at UB all can provide support as well for your thesis work. Students in our program have access to world-class research facilities. Faculty laboratories often will include high-end equipment and facilities that enable research in your specific field of study. But there are also many core facilities that students have access to as part of the Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, which the neuroscience program is a part of. So, for example, students can have access to the electron microscopy and flow cytometry core, histology and mass spec cores, computational core facilities, which are really helpful for analysis, really analysis heavy projects, and neuroimaging facilities and clinical research centers. Now, the goal of our program is really that every student develops into a highly capable and skilled neuroscientist. The skills that students develop as part of our program are high demand. They're transferable research skills that can help you succeed in many areas, even beyond neuroscience. And as part of the program, you'll gain skills in advanced research methodologies and experimental design, data analysis and statistics. And that's an area that some people are a little they're not as interested in initially, but there are lots of really, I think, accessible opportunities to learn more statistics. Some people love stats. I was always really interested in stats, and I still love statistics to this day. And then there are opportunities to build skills in clinical research, research ethics, science communication and collaborative science, and problem solving and critical thinking. Learning these kinds of highly transferable skills, as well as the field specific skills for the research areas that you're interested in, can really set you up for a wide range of opportunities following graduation from our program. A neuroscience master's degree can result in competitive starting salaries and improve opportunities for career development and advancement, and often can make you more competitive for PhD programs, medical school, and other advanced terminal degree programs if that's something you're interested in. A master's degree from UB specifically is also a highly affordable option by comparison to other programs. And that is also can be considered in light of the fact that our program offers a world-class education and research opportunities. So taken together, I would say that our neuroscience master's program is an outstanding value And it's a great opportunity to advance your career if this is something that you're interested in. And I would also attest to this personally, as a graduate myself from the program. I think that that has definitely been true, from my own perspective. There are many potential, and exciting career paths following a neuroscience master's degree. Opportunities following graduation from our program can include being a clinical trials coordinator at major research centers. And in fact, one of the students I mentored in the master's program is now a clinical trials coordinator at Mass Gen and Harvard General Hospital. She works in a large stroke center there. So that's one example of that, more specifically. Graduates can become lab managers, research techs at biotech companies or government research labs or private research organizations, data analysts, science educators. And as I mentioned already, the degree can also certainly make people more competitive for PhD and med school programs, and also clinical and counseling psychology programs as well, and other clinical career paths. And I've known quite a few individuals personally over the years that have gone on to careers in each of these different paths that have graduated from our program. And one thing that many students wonder about when deciding on a program is whether they feel that they are prepared to take on the challenge and if it is the right fit for them. This is very important to consider, of course, because not all programs are the right fit for everyone, of course. But I think that, what is most important is to follow what you're passionate about. A program like this is really about finding something that is fulfilling for you, um, and something that can give you a sense of meaning and purpose. And, when I was in your position and I was looking at programs, I often found it helpful to ask myself, what was really important to me and what was the type of career and path I saw myself finding meaning and fulfillment in life, down the road in the future, trying to think 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. Where did I want to be? And that's a hard question to answer. And it's still a question, I ask myself all the time. And so a program, because that's an ever evolving answer, a program needs to leave space for you as a student to grow and develop and build your interests. So students coming into this program range widely in terms of their future plans. Some students have a very specific idea of what role they want this program to serve for them, and they often, or they may know exactly what they want to do after they graduate. Other students are not quite sure what their next step is, but they maybe feel a sense of curiosity that compels them to want to learn more. And I can certainly identify with that because that was me when I was at that stage. But in both cases, it's important to be motivated, curious, and to really maintain that passion for learning. And from there, what our program should do and is designed to do is to provide you with the opportunities to meet those needs, build the skills and research acumen to then turn that passion into a career and a sense of purpose. That's the idea. That's the goal. Now, as a neuroscientist, you can truly have a positive impact on the world around you. Neuroscientists can help patients improve their health and live better lives. They can produce research that leads to really important advancement of knowledge, understanding of the brain, behavior, ourselves as human beings. The work neuroscientists do can drive innovation, technological development, and medical advancements. And neuroscientists can also impact others, really importantly, through mentoring and teaching, improving equity and access to knowledge, and creating that spark, helping to build that spark in others as well. It's such a rich and fulfilling field of study. And it sounds a little corny to say this, but I really do think there are these like limitless possibilities in neuroscience because of the breadth of the work that's done, because it's so interdisciplinary, and because it also has this sense of wonder, because Neuroscientists can ultimately tell us a lot about ourselves. And this is why I really remain passionate about neuroscience and why it's such an exciting field to be a part of. Now, when discussing a program like this, I think it might be common to have this concept or vision in your mind of working away alone in a laboratory, kind of isolated from others. While that can be true sometimes, the reality is, and this might be surprising to some people, the reality is that you'll really be part of a community in our program, and it's our goal that you're truly part of a collaborative and supportive environment. Even though our program spans multiple departments and has such a wide range of research areas that are covered by the faculty and students that are part of the program, we really have a strong and rich and really unified neuroscience community at UB, and it's filled with people who want you to be successful. I want to stress, our goal is not to weed people out. We want to challenge you to become the best and most capable version of yourself that you can be, so that you're truly prepared for the next step when you graduate. So we have, to kind of expand on that a little bit, we have a really thriving and vibrant neuroscience community at UB. An example of this is our annual Buffalo Neuroscience Research Day, which is a major showcase for the cutting edge research of our students and faculty each year. This past year in 2025, we had 82 abstracts and multiple student talks. Our graduate students across both the master's and PhD programs are an integral and major feature of this really large event, this really amazing research day. And students in the undergrad, master's, and PhD programs all interact, and this promotes even more opportunities for learning and growth for students in all of these programs. I want to just close by letting you know that if you're interested in learning more about our program, we would love to hear from you. You can learn more about our program at this website here, or you can reach out to us at the email listed here. The administrative team that oversees our programs are shown here as well. This includes me as the director of the master's program and Dr. Fraser Sim, who's been a mentor of mine as well when I was a student and also as a faculty member. He's director of the PhD and undergrad programs, and he's really overseen these programs for a number of years. Kaylee Consell, who is the graduate program coordinator, and Shannon Brown, who's been really, really involved in the neuroscience undergraduate program over the years. If you're a UB student and you see any of us walking around, maybe you know some of us, please feel free to say hello and ask us about these programs. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and please reach out if you have any other questions. Have a great day, and goodbye for now.